Welcome back, everyone, to Superman and Lois Season 2. I'm Steve from Valhartv, and today we're going to be reviewing Episode 1. This starts right off where Season 1 left right off, with the arrival of Natalie. This was really well done, too, because Lois doesn't really know how to process this event because she lost her child that they were going to name Natalie. And here this girl sees her and starts calling her mom because on the other planet, it was her mom. And Lois is just like blank. She's just like, and Clark is like, say something, and she just walks away because she can't process it. Really well done, because it really shows how emotional it is when you lose a child, like, and then processing things like that afterwards, and especially being, in the fantasy universe for DC, and there's multiple worlds and universes. She couldn't handle this, and it was it was really good. Now, excuse me. Of course, we get a scene where Sarah's gone for a month and comes back because she was at camp. And she starts acting differently towards Jordan. And Jordan's trying to figure it out, and things like that. And he's trying to plan a really nice surprise for her. And we see that it kind of backfires. And he's confused by all this. So he goes to Jonathan and talks to him a little bit about it. And Jonathan was like, maybe she was lying, maybe something's up. And he's like, no, I don't know, And she's just straight up acting super weird. And this is what I really don't like about shows, even in the past, like even the 90s, things like that. Everybody, they always got a love interest and they got together. And then all of a sudden, like 2 episodes later, they're broken up and they're moving on to other people or doing stuff. And I'm like, why bother? Why even bother putting that in there? If you're going to do it, commit to it, and keep it going, and like Lois and Clark, I mean, they're literally the longest running couple. And that's what I like, is to see couples stay together, especially if it's going on, and of course they're teenagers or 15 years old, but it's, make it last a little longer than a season and like a half a season, for me, that was my big thing. And of course, Jonathan is still being kind of benched because his arm was broke twice last season. But they don't really tell you the time frame for when it healed, So, like 2 episodes later for each arm break, it was completely healed. He was using it just like it was never actually broke. So I was kind of like, they got to address this a little bit better, than just being like, hey. Because it seems like he has some healing abilities where he can heal a little faster than normal people. But of course, he's half Kryptonian, which means he should have powers just like Jordan does. You can't have a Kryptonian father and not expect to not have powers, So I'm wondering if they're going to ever address that. I know it's because they ended up having twins because of the multiverse reset. But still, they should kind of address that at some point, I feel like, just to get everything out of the way. Because if Jonathan does have some kind of where he heals faster than most people, awesome, then that would be a great explanation. But, I mean, when you're not explaining it, you're like, oh, well, you broke your arm twice last year, but we never really said it was like 8 months to a year before you got, you got the use of your arm back, So, I really find that's very interesting, and it's not lazy writing, it's just poor writing where you just don't want to bother explaining something because you're just trying to move the plot along. So there's that. But there's also something going on with Superman. Like, we see it when he's trying to rescue a sub, and he grabs his head in this middle of the storm and then falls and then recovers and saves the sub. But then it happens a second time in the episode as well, where we're seeing like little pathways in his brain and stuff, and he's gripping his head. So I'm very interested to see what that is about, and wondering if it's about Zod that they, the mind of Zod that was in him last season. So I'm wondering if there's something to do with that. But we'll have to stay tuned and find out, though. That's going to be good. And, of course, the DOD is now being run by, I believe they said his name was Anderson. And he's determined to make Superman swear loyalty to America only and not the world. But that's not Superman. Superman saves everybody. Everybody he can save anyways. He doesn't just have loyalty to America, it's loyalty to the world, He has to save people. That's what he does. That's because he's a good guy, And this guy at the DOD is like, no, you need to swear allegiance to America. It's America first. And I'm like, no, that's not really Superman. Not anymore, at least. Back in when he was first out, yes, it was truth, justice, and the American way. But he was always, even then, he was always saving people around the world because that's what he did. That's what kind of guy he was. So I think this is very interesting, especially with the new faces that they're presenting at the DOD. So I'm very interested to see that. Now we got to get to Lois. Lois, again, is clearly upset about the whole Natalie thing. And she's lashing out at everyone, from Clark to the kids, and then finally, she reaches out to John and asks to meet. But even before that, Natalie is taking everything hard as well because all of her friends from her previous world don't know her here. She was never, born here on this planet. So it's very hard for her, and she even talks about it, with her dad. But then when she reaches out, the whole thing between her and Lois was some really good dialogue. And there was really good dialogue throughout this whole episode too. But between the two of them, Natalie's like, I'm not a charity case. I'm not somebody's project. And Lois is like, no, you're not. You're a person. And I think we need to get to know each other and be friends, for both of our sakes, pretty much. And I was just like, wow, I was like, that's awesome. I was like, that was really well done. Very well done in that. And of course, this episode does end with Lois, Natalie, and John coming back to the farm. So that's pretty much where we leave off on this. The effects. The effects were good. I did like the storm around the sub where Superman was holding his head and fell into the water. That looked really good. Like, the graphics for this, like the CGI, is actually really well done for this show compared to any of the other CW shows. And the writing is actually a lot better, too, which, again, kills me because it shows that the CW, like, some of the CW writers are really good, and they can write a really good show without having to bring all this drama in, all this politics in. They can write a good show. And that's the worst part because all these other shows are just going downhill because of that fact that they're bringing all this other stuff in. And I just don't understand why when you have a show this popular and then all of a sudden you just literally throw, other shows away. It boggles my mind. The acting in this I thought was good, just as good as last season. Like, they never left, like they never stopped filming. It was almost, that's what it seemed like. They just picked right up just like that. And they went. And Lois, again, was emotional, believable. Dude, this was amazing for her. I really love the way she plays it. The way she plays Lois. I don't have her name up. Dang it, I gotta get her name. But, like, this season, Clark faces new challenges as Superman and as a father, as we saw in this episode, too. This was really good. Will he be able to face the challenges from the DOD and the new superheroes? What other things will he face this season as well, though? I mean, I really can't wait to see what's going to happen, especially with him. With what's going on right out of the gate, they literally throw you right back into something else. And I thought that was really good. We'll just have to stay tuned for this. I would give this easily 7.5, 8 out of 10. This was a really good opener for a season. So I really enjoyed it. Let me know down below what you guys thought about this episode. And if you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and subscribe. Take care for now, everyone.